Hello and welcome to today's New York live trading session. It is the 4th of August. Let's see what's happening. This week is non-farm payroll week on Friday, so the markets probably will tighten up as the week goes on. And also, for those of you in Europe, Bank of England monetary policy, a lot of Great British Pound GBP news on Thursday. Right, let's start sharing screen. I've still got some pairs open from this morning. That's AUD-CAD. Looks like it's a sell on the 62 coming under the quarter theory. But there's quite a gap there. If it is going down, that is 14 pips. You wouldn't want to get into it until below that pitchfork because of that. So that makes the stop loss, as that's a slow pair, too tight, but here you can see the orange is above the blue and above the quarter theory, so therefore technically it's still saying it's going up, and in fact you can see a trend there. So that's just broken there, so a bit of a mixed bag on AUD-CAD. Nothing I want to mark up on that.
Sarah, have you got Euro-NZD marked up?
Let me have a look. I'm pretty sure I have, because you were talking about it earlier. Yes, I've got this one. So that is pushing down, selling. And that is from the scan I've got there is with the D point of the 3rd of August, 12 o'clock UK time. So I think that's the same one as you. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at that one then. Thank you for the spot. So what have we got here? Let's magnify it. We've got it. This is a fast pair, so you need a 15 pip stop loss. If we put the slide bar on the pitchfork, I can see a little pink pitchfork running through there. So you've got your 15 pips, okay. And put that down at 20. So what's this telling us at the moment? Let's mark our downward trend. Very nice downward trend there. Can't quite touch that. So I've got an anchor up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just wicked through a little bit. 5. And then all that stall out on quarter theory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 candles stall out, and then a push down, and it's coming down below the 62 now. So we've got how many pips away? It is 6 pips away from that pitchfork, and we're looking for something like this. So we'll put an alert on and wait for that to, wait for that to go off. I usually put it a couple of pips above the pitchfork. Okay, so let's see what happens there. That's coming down now. And you want the break and the retest. We don't, as we know, we don't, there was one this morning where it did 9.2, it didn't do the 10, but you want to make sure it isn't what we call slippage, and that you see how it's sat in here in that London to New York crossover, the first hour. It's 1 o'clock your time. It did that fake out. That didn't do a fake, well, it did a bit up but it then consolidated in there for 45 minutes, just in there. So we don't want to get caught in that trap. You need to make sure it's, you see how it pushed down, but then an engulfing buy candle came up, and then consolidation, then stalling out. So you've got to make sure it clears this wedge. Otherwise we could get stuck in that in drawdown, and you don't want that happening. That is coming down quite fast, but we'll leave that till the alert goes off. Euro JPY is just coming outside the extensions. So that's selling quarter theory and outside the extensions, but it depends what it's going into, because I don't know what other scan I've got. I've got a green line there. Put it on the 15 minutes, see if I can pick up where that is. So if the extensions don't do their job and ping it back in, then I've got this green scan, green pitchfork. Oh, sorry, I forgot I've got the dishwasher on. Oh, that was that second pitchfork I drew, and there's that C point, but I think we agreed, or I agreed anyway, that I thought it was accurate, because you could see all the touches along there. And that scan there. So I think I'm fairly happy with that. Just wick through a bit there. Perfect touch on that quarter theory, isn't there? Okay, so that looks like it's still pushing down. I don't know if you've got that green scan. So that's Euro JPY, but not a trade I think I want to get involved in, because I'm not sure, you know, if it's going to come down or cut. It looks like it's pushing down quite hard, but it is stalling out a bit there. So I'm not going to mark that one up unless anyone wants me to do something with it. So that's Euro JPY. I'm going to close EJ. I'll close that one. I don't want the computer to slow down. GBP JPY. I've had that alert down there for a long time, and it's taken the whole of London to move 50 pips. Just looks like it's rejecting off there. So again, it's in that price, in that wedge between pitchfork and quarter theory. Let's have a look at it a bit further out. So it's off a sell scan. I've got a D point of the 31st of July. Oh yes, my little friend here that caught me out the other day. And that's why I've got that down there at the moment. So it should be wanting to work its way down to that level at about 135.500, because that's the C point on the scan. So let's come back to the 1 minute. So you can see a downward trend there. So we can mark that up, see if it carries, sorry, see if finger slips, see if it carries on down here. Change the color. So take off the extend right a minute. So you could have it out like that, or I think I prefer it like that. That's that little hourly spike up there. Right, so we've got downward trend, rejection of quarter theory, and we've got, I don't know if I like the look of this because of the, I wouldn't want to get in it until it had cleared that. So that for me, I don't like the stop loss on that. It's massive 30 pip stop loss, and then 20 pips before you've got the next wall for it to clear. Let's look at the gap between the pitchfork leg. It doesn't look like it's that big. Oh, it is 85. Okay then. So that means we can apply our other rules. So what we could do is take that down to the quarter theory. Get rid of that and put an alert down here. So I'll have a look at it if that goes off. And just do the, so same thing applies, break and retest on the quarter theory. GBP, JPY, 15 pips stop loss. So some way to go on that one for a setup that I would like, but with GJ, you are looking for that 50 pips. You're looking to that zone there, 137 down to 136,900 on GJ. Okay, so that's that setup. I have looked at the scanner this morning. I'm going to close GJ. Euro USD. I did mark that up because someone was looking at it for a buy, and I did do a very cheeky 10 pips, 12 pips when I closed out. So that was me being a bit naughty, looking at it because of someone else's setup. Different strategy. So I'll just remove all that so we don't get confused. So what's happening on Euro USD? Well, as you know, this is one that I've always wanted to look at this week for a sell. And in fact, since London, it's done more than the 50 pips. It's still dropped through. I could have stayed in that. And the orange is still well below, shoveling it down. It's past that green pitchfork. So it's on its way down. Now, if that's the major level that I was looking at, where if it breaks that 1.17, which Les has spoken about, that's the key level. But I've got that new scan, a different scan for it to come into. So I'd wait myself for it to come through all this lot, but I might look at it again round about here. But it's a bit difficult to take a position given our strategy, but we could do something on 543 or HFX possibly down at this level. So it just depends what strategies you are following, which is why it's best to stick to one or two and be very clear and have different live accounts to run them on. So no setup at the moment on Euro USD. And I've got an alert down there. Pretty sure I've still got that. Edit, yeah. So I'm going to close that one. Now, if that turns around and goes back up for that bull run, absolutely fine. We just apply the same principles. So we wait for, we put a long position on quarter theory, 20 pips. Just do the usual thing. Euro USD only needs 10. So we'll be looking at it round about here. And we want it to do this if it is coming up now. So that may well be. So break and retest break and retest and go, and profit level up there if you can. If it would need to break that 15-minute line, then you know it's going to make a next level probably. So I'll put an alert on there. And then close that one for the moment. That's Euro USD. But my overall favouring is for selling, but you know, whatever. Not going to argue with a seriously good trader. Right, what's happening on Euro-AUD? Very fast pair has been going down. It is a very fast pair, but I thought it was quite slow moving for Euro-AUD. So it's stuck between those levels and it seems to want to come back up. And the scan on this one that I've got is a second pitchfork. It's respected it there, along there. There's some touches there. So I think that's okay. And there, I'm okay with that, I think. So it was a sell scan, the last one that I had, but price has moved all the way up. So unless it's unless the bankers want to drive it down again, I don't know. Just take some of this off. It doesn't look too untidy. Oh, I can see a pink pitchfork there. Where's that sitting? Oh, okay. I've got a pink pitchfork, but it's catching it. Let's see if that's off a D scan rather than one of my second ones. Was this one with the... Take it to the hourly. That's from the 3rd of July. So that's okay. I think I'd rather work off that one. So I'm going to take mine off and use this one. Okay, let's just get that sorted. Right, so what have we got? If we're using the pink one, let me dull that even more because it could come back into that one. I don't know what it wants to do. Take that down slightly. Right, so if we are using this pink one, then we've got the orange cross below the blue for a sell. We've had the break and the retest of quarter theory and a break and a retest of the pink pitchfork, but it's only just come below 62, but you might be a bit too far off taking it now, a bit too far off that pitchfork, I think. Might have missed this one. Yes, you'd need to be right up there with it. So we should have been in if we were getting into this one. I've been away from my desk. I've been doing something else the last hour, so I haven't been looking at them all. That's EN alert going off. We should have been in it, break and retest there. We should have come into it here. That's the entry. So that would have given you, you could have had your 15 pips there. So hopefully you can see why that's the entry. You would have given up. It's just on the edge of entering something because it's 9 or 10 pips off even there. But as you can see, it's a volatile pair. So that's EA. Looks like it's still heading down at the moment, but it is forming higher lows there. And it could well come back into my second pitchfork, which are those outer extensions. In which case, if it turns around, then we're looking at that. Okay, so let's go to, so I'm not going to mark anything on that. So that's just for purposes of breaking down how to look at a trade entry. So let me close down EA and we'll go to EN, Euro NZD. So our alert has gone off. So we can sit and look at this one for a minute. So this is what we want to see. And what do the pivots, what time was that? What do the pivots tell us? So it just came up, tried to push above quarter theory, tested the 15-minute, come down. The 62 is holding it, but it's kind of playing in this area, which we don't want. Sorry, pressed the wrong button. Pivots. So we've got lower highs, although that is a higher high, and it isn't an hourly candle. And we've still got lower lows. Well, that was quite a wick on that one. So nice that the alert went off, but until it clears this area. So I'll just move that just to the other side. Till it clears that area, we do not want to get involved in it. Oh, so because every time I think I'll just close the screen. Oh, let's see what we're on the half hour. Let's have a look at the half hour candle. Doji's indecision. $50.50. So you can see here, there's our quarter theory.
Bless you.
Here's this price trap wedge that we're stuck in. So pushed down, but a wick on either side, didn't clear either. And then the buy candle, very little volume, lot of wick, can't push up. And this is the new half-hour candle, so hopefully that's a sell candle that's going to carry on the way down. And I can just see that pink pitchfork there. If you can see that line there. So we need it to clear this level where that blue alert line is, pale blue alert. So the 15-minute still shows us that it's stuck in that wedge. And the same on the 5-minute. Hasn't made its mind up. It'll have to make its mind up sooner or later. And there's the 1-minute. It's still below our 1 minute trend line, and that's that pink dotted line, that old pitchfork I've got. So it does hopefully look like it's stalling out there. No, as soon as I said it, oh, it's just wicking off. So I'm not going to sit and watch that. We'll look at something else, particularly as it's just decided it's going to try and do that. But we'll see what happens on that 62. Or is it gonna, it's just wicking off the 62. If it does that, then that's a good sign. It can't, it's failing to break above. So we can't do anything about that at the moment. We'll leave the alert. Come back to it if it goes off again. NZD, EN, NZD, USD. Very slow moving pair. I'm going to shut this down at the moment. It's still on the way down. Not one that I trade. Don't like the stop loss anyway, because you'd only want 10 pips. You can't cover that anyway if it's carrying on down. So I'm going to close that one. NZD, USD, USD CAD. Oh, look at that. Just coming on down to meet that 15 minute. So that that is just breaking that pitchfork and quarter theory. So you have a look on the 15 minute. That's the D point. So it was a scan from the 30th of July. It has hit the median, come all the way back up, all the way back down to the median. And here it is at the moment. So let's have a look at USD. Sorry, let me just remind myself. That's it, we haven't got any, I couldn't remember, Canadian holiday was yesterday, I think, wasn't it? So let's put this on here, see what we've got. So it's had a very long, there's a very long trend line going up, so it needs to break that. That was the upward trend. There's one upward trend there. So it broke that, it went down to the pitchfork. The 62 is still been, it's still been above that, but it looks like it is now leveling off. So we've got, there's another trend. I might take off the other one so we don't confuse ourselves. Don't really need that one. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you don't count the wick. Or you could do it like this. It's your own personal preference. They're not as exact as pitchforks, which have Fibonacci in them. Trend line is a little bit more like a zone. Chris Terry always says you should include the wicks, and I think Chance says you don't need to. Sometimes I don't include them, as you can see here, and I've ignored that bit, even though it's not an on the hour. But that's kind of good. I've got a tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 or 7 exact touches there. So it's broken the 1 minute trend. It's come under the 62. It's trying to come down on this pitchfork now. So we'll put a, and we'll go back. Oh, just going to say we'll go back and look at that. So that's coming down now for the sell. So just let it play out. Don't let the trade come to us. That's not enough of a break yet. So we've had the break and the retest of the quarter theory twice. Two good breaks and retests there. But we just would like to see that break and retest of this. As well. So you, after the break and retest, it's your decision on your entries, because we're not signal providers. I'll just mark mine up, but that's just what I'm doing. There we are. You should be able to see what I've done there as an idea. So that looks quite good, doesn't it? Thank you, Connor, for that one. So a nice strong sell candle, engulfing candle. The wick on the wick there on that little blue buy candle looks good because it's closed under the pitchfork, and hopefully it's going to break these levels to the left and then come down about 10 pips back up to the pitchfork for the entry, which is a bit lower down actually. 04. So let's stay with this one. And our pivots, lower highs. Oh, it's just leveled off there. That could be this price trap thing. Because we had lower highs and then it's leveled off along that 15-minute. And we had lower lows, but then it's leveled off and we've got a higher low there. That GA one that we finished on this morning did work out 2 lots of 15 pips. Little bit of market not moving as fast as normal. Normally it would have moved faster, so it did seem to stall out quite a bit, but it came back and gave you exactly the same setup the second time. So we've now had here these 2 middle candles both wicking off the pitchfork, and here comes the third one. So it's just that's a very good sign for us that it's stalling out there for 3 1-minute candles, because that's saying it just can't break through the pitchfork. So give that about 5 minutes of that, and then it should start to move. So here comes the half 30 seconds of this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be the 5th minute of the stall out. After that long green sell candle with a very solid bottom at the top and at the bottom. So very nice volume. So if it doesn't move in a minute, I'll go on to something else and come back to it. Got GA to look at again, and GCAD. So the 5th minute, it straddled it with 2 wicks either side. So just magnify that. There we are. So that was a good one because it wicked off and closed underneath. 3 dojis, all with wicks, indecision, 50-50 trade, no volume. And now pushing back up. And this one, how many seconds have we got? 20 seconds of this one. Looks like it's gonna, is it gonna close above? No, it's not. That's good. It stays green. Last 5 seconds, so that's good. The new candle. So it's similar size, quite a wick there, but the new candle, it's come back to our normal size. So that just wicked off the 1 minute trend line, and hopefully this is going to give us our, so we need to be patient. Hopefully this is going to give us the break and retest we're looking for in a minute. That is 10 pips. I don't know if it'll do that amount, or it might do a bit more and come back. But as I've said on these sessions, I've learnt my lesson very hard way with real money by panicking and thinking the trade's running away from me and that I'm going to miss it, and I've waited ages for the setup, getting in and then only have to sit and suffer a load of drawdown or worse. You know, it turns around above the 1 minute, above the 62, and hey, it decides it's going to sit in here for hours and then go to the buy side. So I'd far rather suffer the grief of not taking the trade, disqualifying it and looking for another trade, than rushing at a trade and paying with your good hard-earned money out your bank account. But as we've seen, you don't always get these full 10 pip break and retests. So I'll leave that one. Shall I leave it, or is that all it's going to give us? In which case you've got a decision to make. Let me see how many pips that is. 6. I see that could just be 6.2. Here comes another one, and that wicked off that last one. So 20 seconds left on this one. Let's have a quick look at GCAD. Nothing on that one. I've got an alert set up at that quarter there at 1.74500. No, I don't want to restart, not now. I'll come out of GCAD. I haven't got anything on that at the moment. I'm going to close that. And GA. GA was the one we looked at this morning. So there was your break and retest. There was entry number 1. By the time you got in under the 62 on the second one, you had 2 lots of 15 pips off this one, although it still now has run right down. I wasn't following it after that. So that was a very nice move on that one. Normally it would move faster than that, not take from there to get down to quarter theory. How long did that take? 1 hour 38, and it went down 54, and it's gone down 65 pips. But you did have to suffer quite a lot of stall out, which GA doesn't usually do, in my opinion. Down to the 62, you had to give back up quite a lot of pips before it finally ran down. So it did need some patience. But in the short term, there were 2 lots of 15 pips on that one. And that's been loaded to YouTube if anyone wants to go back over it. And it still looks like it's on its way down. So let's come back, see what EN is doing. Okay, so that now is running down. So you could decide you're going to wait. It's a difficult one because it's done 6.2 break and retest there. Up to you. Normally we like 10 pips, which would be down at where that point is there. So we'll sit and watch this one, I think. Unless there's anything else anyone wants me to look at. 7.9. Move that out the way. Don't need that really. Just as a little guideline. That's 8 pips. So you've now got quarter theory, pitchfork, and the 62, and an old pink pitchfork all sitting in your between your entry price and your stop loss, which is very good. You have a decision to make as to whether you think it's done its break and its retest because of that, and it's under the 1 minute trend, or whether because it's a fast pair, it's going to come back up after doing a break of about 10 pips and then take the entry from about 1.77906 thereabouts. That sort of idea. And we're in the coming up to the last 10 minutes of the hour. So there's that as well. So let me think. I've done GJ, EN, GAGC. I haven't looked at EA for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 5 fast pairs. So have a look at the hull. Right, now that's what I'd like to see. And now it does a big turn back up and then get in. Okay. I expect Connor's in already, knowing him. Fearless. Well, that's just shuffling down, isn't it? So obviously that was all we were going to get on that stall out and the break and the retest. But it's 10 minutes before the hour. I can't always tell if it's just going to do that. That sort of thing, I think, just comes with more experience, making that sort of judgment call. Because I don't think, to be honest, I would have got in on that if I'd been sat here looking at it on my own, because it's 10 minutes before the hour, because I'd seen the stall outs, but I'd only seen like 6 or 7 pips on it. But there we are. That's just very quickly done. It's 20. And that's fast money. So fast money in, I'd secure the bag. I would not hang around, given that it, you know, if it wicks off there, although you don't get any yen, just to get a few pips. So see what it does at, if you are in 1.77657, that pitchfork, break and retest, and then you've got the next zone on a pair like this, which will be down at 1.77500. And how many is that? That is wicking off 3 pips, which isn't quite a touch. So I'll leave that one with you. I'll look at a couple of other things before we go. GA. Still going down. And we are $96. So you can take quarter theory trades if you've got the 3 confirmations. See what it below the 62, just below. You've had a break and a retest of the quarter theory, and you've got to find something else. You're going to need a 3rd confirmation. I can't see a fib, and we could try the channel. Try 1 minute trend break and retest. See if we've got that. So we've got touches all up there. We've got a break and a retest there. Up to here. And GA normally is 15, but it might not need to be that far up. Okay. So it's just moving down quite fast. So quite a bit away now from that quarter theory. 9 pips. It's probably moved down too fast. I think we've missed that one. Unless it comes, it's 5 minutes to the hour. If it does decide to come back up and give you another entry, then you're looking, you need it to be here. You want your entry to be below that 62 line, not getting in when it's above it. That's why I've lined it up with that orange line and a sell arrow, a sell candle. So that's, and that is a fast pair, GA. So that's GA. Just the last, what's EN doing? Just wicked off that pitchforks that did a fast run down. So we didn't get a full break and retest of 10 or 15 pips back, which sometimes you get. It just gave us the stall out and those other confirmations. And that doji there looks like it still wants to head down. It's 2 wicks off there. So thank you, Connor, for that one. That was very good for anyone that did get into that. I haven't looked at EuroCAD. There was nothing on that this morning. I still haven't got anything until it comes to this area here. That's where I want to look at that area there. Pitchfork and quarter theory. So wait for that setup. That's EuroCAD. GU. Interesting point because it has reversed now on this area. That's not an outer extension though, is it? What scan am I in on this one? Oh, so it didn't like that scan. It's back in this one from June. There's a D point sat behind there, that green one. So it's gone back into that buy scan, but it seems to, and there's some old lines behind there. I'll just hide those. It's a bit clearer. It seems to have decided it's finished moving up at the moment. So let's see what we're looking for. So we've got a downward trend. No trade for us at the moment. The gap between the pitchfork is 106. So if you can find the 3 confirmations, again, you can take a quarter theory trade. So on this, all those touches there. But what it hasn't done, so we've got the 62 coming above the quarter theory. We haven't had a break and a retest of it. We want, and if we've got so what confirmations have we got? We haven't got a break and a retest, and we've got it above the 62, and a one minute break and retest. So normally I'd want to see this. It seems to have just gone straight up. So I want to see it come back to there and then go. It doesn't seem to have done that for us, because I'm sort of struggling to look at that and find 3 confirmations. So how many pips off is that now? 17. So again, it's just shot straight up. So we had a 1 minute trend line. 62's coming above quarter theory. I suppose you could call that there, that bit there. I move that off. maybe we're saying that, so a push down, strong push up, doji candle, it doesn't quite touch it there. So it depends where you draw your trend line. So you've got a little break and a retest there. But again, I wouldn't have found that one easy myself to have had the confidence to have got into that. Sometimes I like these setups and I can see them quite well if it does that properly, but I didn't find that. I think Chance would probably say, oh, it did it like that or something. Maybe that. Maybe that's what he would look at. In which case you could have got in on that first, not the doji one, this one here. That candle there. And it's making its way up. So it might be on its way up to meet that 15-minute. In which case you've got another bite of the cherry because we've got 106 pips. So you've got another quarter theory there. So if that does carry on up, then you can have another look at it here. But you need to find your 3 confirmations. So you'll be looking for that or that. Did we look at Euro USD? Yes, we did. And I can't see a fib or anything to put on that. So that's everything for today. Oh, I'm a little bit past the hour. I do try and keep it to the hour, particularly doing 2 sessions a day. So I'm just going to stop sharing. Well, let's look at what E ended just before we go. So it's breaking on down through what looks like it wants to come down to that next level. And I've forgotten, where are we on there? 50. It does look like it's still going to stay under the 62 and want to come down further to that zone. It is a fast pair. So I hope that's helpful. I'll just stop sharing and see if there's nothing in the chat. So thanks for joining, and I will see you tomorrow. And stop the recording.